You're not a weak man for doing laundry. You're a weak man when you don't be generous to your spouse.
And that really affects your marriage, and your kids hear that.
Sometimes those challenges in life are meant to shape you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Ageless Blonde Podcast. I have a very special guest today, Michael Cameneti, also AKA my husband. We're going to be talking all things mindset and how your mental health affects your physical health today. So welcome, Michael.
Thanks. I'm usually behind the camera and editing. All the reels you see, all the posts are me sitting in my office looking at your face every day, listening to you talk. So now I'm on the couch.
He's usually not in front of the camera. He's always behind. He does all the editing, all the podcasts, and he's the one that has pushed me to do the Ageless Blonde.
I've only been telling you how long to do this.
Well, we won't talk about that now. So today we want to talk about health and wellness and mental health specifically, because we've been talking about just different things you can do for your overall health. But if your mental health is not in check, your physical health is not going to be in check. So we want to share, maybe get a little vulnerable about some of the things that we've went through mentally, and talk about it with you guys so you understand that your mental health will really directly affect your physical health. And it's hard for you to heal and recover if you can't get your mindset right. So where should we start? Should we start with my mental health journey or yours?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, just in case I'm sure most people don't know, I'm going to be 44 this year. I work in the film industry. I'm a musician. And so when I think about mindset and health and wellness, it's a lot of things that I scoffed at for a long time. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of there's a lot of industries that are like this, but there's a lot of cynicism and skepticism about mindset and about speaking positive.
Right.
Especially, again, it can be in any industry, but working on set, there's a lot of guys that are jaded, and rightfully so, because the industry is a mess right now. Mm-hmm. But it's a lot, if you walk onto a set and you're like, you just got to just speak that you're going to get the work, man, they're going to laugh you out of the room.
Yeah.
You're going to get kicked out of the
studio. You kind of get criticized for being positive, or criticized for saying, just believe something until it happens.
Right.
There's a lot of criticism.
And there's more to it than that.
Right.
It's not just speaking it, it's putting in the work. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I was also one of those kind of people.
Cynical? You were cynical?
Yeah. I mean, you can be very just jaded in life in general when things aren't coming to you. See everybody else, especially in the film and music industry. It's like, well, that guy's been only doing it. I've been doing it for 20 years and that guy just started, and he's getting all this work. He's working on set and he's doing all this stuff.
So and being judgmental or jealous or a little bit critical because maybe you're not where they are, and that just happens. And so what's crazy is we both struggled with this. I think everyone does, to be honest. I think everyone can struggle with, why am I not at that level that I want to be, or they may be jealous of someone else, or judgmental. That's what I say a lot of people struggle with, like just being judgmental in general.
Yeah.
So you were like that, and then how did you change it?
Well,
we went through a lot. I mean,
it's until you hit rock bottom and you're like, okay, nothing's working for me. Right. It's working for everybody else. It's funny. I saw a buddy of mine post something the other day. It was like something along the lines, we're probably going to botch it, but it was like, you ever notice how people who maybe aren't the people that have the most character, maybe they don't have the best integrity, but everything's working for them, and you're like, what in the world? Like, I'm speaking positive, I'm a good person, I help others around me, I'm involved in my community, I'm working hard, blah, 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 but it's working for them and it's not for me. And, so I think that's a big thing where it's like you can really have that envy of what other people have and what they're accomplishing, and start wondering what's wrong with me, why is it not happening to me, and then you get jealous, and then you really just start to be jaded, which is just this downward spiral.
Right.
And it's until you hit a rock bottom and you start realizing, like, I just need to put in the work. I need to be journaling. I need to be speaking positive. I need to be working. I need to be going after things, putting myself in the right circles. There's so many things that play a part. But I think that's something that, like, especially in my industry, in film and music, where it's like, if you don't really understand how to compartmentalize those things and know, like, it's like The Artist's Way is a great book that you and I both read, which really helps you reframe your mindset onto drawing things to you, which can get weird sometimes. It can feel like this is kind of like spacey and out there.
I don't think it's weird at all.
It's not.
It's changed my life.
I'm saying it for sure. But at first,
it's
like,
woo-woo maybe.
I was one of those kind of people. I'm like, what are we talking about? Like, what is this?
Right.
But it's until you don't have the work and you're like, especially as a man, where you feel like you have those responsibilities to provide for your family. And you're like, I just moved my family to Los Angeles with nothing. All my clients are back in Ohio, where we're originally from. And what am I doing?
Right.
Like, did I mess up? Am I going to like destroy my family? So it's until you have those like realizations of like, man, I took a step of faith towards something. Now it's time to see like what I really believe.
Well, and I believe as like, obviously like as a healthcare provider, someone that's in the wellness space, that these thoughts that you have that are critical thoughts, judgmental thoughts, or even thoughts about yourself. Because, what happens is when you do hit rock bottom and you're judging others and you're frustrated with others, you start to also think those thoughts about yourself. More than likely, if you're being judgmental to other people or critical to other people, you're struggling internally because you're either insecure, unhappy, or dealing with something yourself. So in my journey, I found that like, and in yours, I found that basically when you could change that frame of mind and those thoughts and start to love yourself and love the people around you, you could actually heal mentally and internally. And these thoughts affect you
Self-talk
physically.
is everything. Self-talk is everything. Because there was a point where I literally hated myself. Yeah. I'm like, I'm a loser. I suck. I can't do it. I don't know what I'm doing.
And
my wife hates me.
Everything.
My kids are going to hate me. My family's going to hate me. Everyone else is working and doing all this stuff. I'm a loser. I don't bring value. And you start to believe it. You start like thinking to yourself, like, I am a loser. In those moments, it's the most important thing to recenter and talk about yourself in a positive way.
Right.
Know your worth, know your value. And that's something you did really before me. And I saw things starting to work for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, maybe this is actually something I need to be doing.
We went through a lot of different things in our life, a lot of rock bottom moments. I really struggled with my health. That's why I'm even wanting to share with you guys how to overcome obstacles in your health journey. But something I kept missing in this path of being sick for about 5 years and going to so many doctors and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on not knowing what was wrong with me, and our marriage struggling and our finances struggling. And it was struggle after struggle. But then it was finally like something hit me like, oh, if I could change my mindset, if I could believe differently, if I could see my life better than it was, then there was possibility and there was hope. And I think when you lose hope, or you lose the idea that something could be better on the other side, or you lose vision, then it's hard to get out of rock bottom. So I think you and I both had to hit rock bottom more than once, sadly, to realize that like this was affecting my health and this was affecting your confidence or the things that you wanted to pursue in life. This was hindering. They were roadblocks. And so something that we did do, I mean, The Artist's Way was an incredible book. If you guys are looking for, if you're a creative person and you're stagnant, The Artist's Way is life-changing. But something that you and I had to do was we were listening to motivational speaking. We were listening to different pastors that we really, loved. And then I started to journal and tell you, oh my gosh, this is so silly, but writing out the things I wanted to change in my life slowly shifted my life. And I was in utter shock that I would just say things like, my life is changing. We have a financial increase. I am healthy. My cells operate the way they should. My mindset operates the way it should. And I can't tell you, after writing these things down for about a year, my entire life shifted.
Well, you're changing your energy. And there's something too, we've been looking into energy and quantum stuff and how much that plays a part. And again, it seems so strange.
Right.
But it really, when you have the energy of drawing things to you instead of repelling things away from you, it's life-changing. Another thing I wanted to say, too, about the other point we were making, when you hit rock bottom, it's one of those things where you can either have the perspective of, well, I suck, my life's over,
right,
or these challenges are going to shape me.
Yeah.
I, just to be vulnerable here, I was married once before. went through an awful divorce, you know. We had a child, which is our oldest, Cade. He's going to be 20 next year.
Yeah.
And there was just that alone was literally the hardest journey of my life. It was so challenging. And, you know, it's not all her fault. There's, you know, it takes two to tango or whatever. Like we both
divorce
played a
in
part.
general is just really hard.
Yeah.
On the child and the married couple.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that alone was enough for me to be like, oh, I suck. I'm going to give up. Love is not for me. I'm, you know, I hate women. All this is awful, blah, blah, blah. And so from there, then it's like, then we get married and you get so sick. The doctors think you have cancer and you're dying. Mm-hmm. And we're like, here we go again. Mm-hmm. Then we find out we had mold in our house, black mold in 3 different houses in Ohio.
They were all black mold, but they were all water damaged buildings.
Yeah. I mean, there was mold. There were mold in all 3 of them. But it's thing after thing after thing. And then we come here, you know, we think we're making the right move, which in hindsight, it was obviously like we're here and we're thriving.
It's crazy to move to Los Angeles when your kids are little.
It was wild. I don't recommend doing that to a lot of like.
Well,
you should,
not as freelance creatives. No.
Yeah, I mean,
it depends on your interest.
It was definitely a shot in the dark. And
you know, it was the best decision we ever made. But in the moment, it was hard.
That's the thing.
Hard.
You know,
hard.
when we know what we know now, we wouldn't have changed anything. Mm-hmm. In the moment, you have an opportunity to say, I just got divorced. I have to split custody with my kid. My wife, my now wife, is so sick. She looks like she's going to die. Mm-hmm. What's going on? Then you lost your mom. We moved, like just so many thing after thing after thing after thing. We were broke. We didn't have money, having to ask our parents for help. Like just humiliating, demoralizing things that like, you could choose to give up and be like, I suck. I don't know what I'm doing. Or sometimes those challenges in life are meant to shape you. And you say, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? How can I get beyond it? How can I not let this happen again? And I think sometimes like people don't have that perspective.
It's hard to have that perspective when you're in it.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's the necessary perspective because that's the only way you're going to grow and get to the next person that you're meant to be. Because we grow and evolve as we go through these things. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. No, I'm not even the same person I was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, we've been here for 8 years now. And those first 3 years were rough. I mean, it was really hard. Like there were times we couldn't pay rent. I didn't have a job. We had that conversation. I remember it was July 4th, 2018. I had to, we literally like fireworks were going off in the background. And I'm like, you have to get a job. I can't do this anymore.
And I was sick at the time.
And you were sick. I was like, I don't have enough work.
It wasn't that I didn't want to work. It was that I was going through medical procedures and still getting treatment. And I was struggling. But at the time, I think all that stress all of that stress from the time we got married till the time we moved to LA, I think, to be honest, I definitely had health problems. I was diagnosed with Lyme disease and mold toxicity, but the stress of it all compounded all the health problems and made it worse. And so I think, what I realized was like, wow, if I could change my mindset and try to overcome this stress or find ways to deal with the stress, that I could be the best version of me and I could actually heal. And so you
are a better version of yourself now.
Right.
That's the whole thing.
I'm a different person.
Everything we've gone through, I look now at like where we're at, we're way more successful. We have so much more knowledge and so much more value that we can bring to others.
Right.
This podcast, this show, what you're doing, you work with celebrities constantly, right? You're helping so many people in their life with their healthcare, with wellness, through peptides, through consultations, through even just, there's this particular celebrity in particular that I'm thinking of that I'm not going to name, but you've helped her so much in her journey. And she's told you that you've made her, stronger and feeling like she's at the top of her game.
Just lots of different people.
You wouldn't have that opportunity had we not been through. So I guess I'm just saying, like, anybody that's out there that's feeling like
they're struggling,
they're lost, they're struggling, they're broken, life's over, like literally praying at night, like, God, I don't want to live another day. There's a reason why you're going through those things you're going through, and it's meant to shape you into being somebody that in 5-10 years down the line, you're going to say, man, I'm so glad I went through that because now I can actually help others, and it's going to propel you into who you're supposed to be.
Well, and I think everyone's affected different. I think you were affected more mentally with your mental health, and I was affected more with my physical health.
Right.
And what I do know, without a shadow of a doubt, that when we do hit rock bottom, that all of a sudden we get these tools to learn how to get out of our situation. And then once we learn how to get out of our situation, we can in turn teach other people how to do the same. And so I think, like, if anything, we want to inspire people to find a way that if they're mentally struggling or physically struggling, or they feel lost, or they don't have hope, like, there is always a way out. But it really, really starts with your mindset. It just does. And I mean, obviously you can find ways to inspire yourself or whatnot, but like, I noticed when we started to shift our mindset and started to say this, because the reality is, if you focus on the problem, you attract and bring problems into your life. If you focus on
that doesn't mean you don't deal with it, the problem. That doesn't mean you brush it under the rug and you're like, no. You still got to deal with it.
But the more you focus on the problem, the more you attract more problems, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just, if you start focusing on what could be, or what is good, or what is possible, then you're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. And even in your healing journey, or even in your mental health journey, these are really important tools. Something that I really got into neuroscience, and I really got into Joe Dispenza, and something I also practiced while I was really sick was neuroplasticity. And so this is similar to what we're talking about with shifting your mindset. So neuroplasticity is a way to rewire new neural pathways in the brain. And so there's actual science that you're able to do this. And so something that Michael and I both worked on was this, like, you were a pretty negative person and now you're not at all. And I was as well. I mean, but I was in a different way. So I like to share our journeys, because mine was more physical and his was more mental, I'd say.
Well, I mean, 2021 and 2, there were so many things that I was dealing with, like, investments that fell through. I was a crypto bro for a minute, where I was investing in crypto, and that didn't work out because everything crashed. Some
bad decisions financially.
There were a lot of people that went through stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just work that kind of fell through because of COVID. I remember there were times in those seasons where you would go work and I would be home, and I would just literally sit at my desk and cry, or lay in bed and feel like I physically could not get out of bed. Yeah. Like, I was just like so anxious and depressed and worried and in fear.
Lots of mental health
and that's when finally you were like, okay, can you listen to this with me? And you made me sit down and I think it was one of the Joe Dispenza things where you have to breathe with him and speak positive.
The meditations.
There were meditations. Yeah. But, and that was like a stretch for me, but I was so low that I was like, I'll try anything to not feel like how I'm feeling.
Right.
Which in turn, then all of that helped me to finally get up, have new ideas. And from that, this is crazy. So from that, I had an idea, and I came to you, I said, okay, what if I'm so inspired by all this motivational stuff right now? What if I start an Instagram account that helps other people,
encourages
them, uses like little clips? Within 6 months, that account went to like 100,000 followers on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and eventually grew within another 6 months to 250,000 followers.
Yeah.
And so to me, I think that was almost like God's way of like, if you would just take a moment and just breathe and just speak positively, just know that everything's going to work out. Use what you have. Use what you have. You're learning and what you're going through.
Can we stop there on use what you have? Yeah. Because I think in my head, I always thought, I need to get better, like physically, but I can't afford these expensive treatments. I want to build this amazing platform, but I don't have enough. I don't have a team. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, using what you have, starting with nothing, will turn into something.
Yeah.
Or you think it's nothing, but you actually already have the gifts inside of you to use. So I think you and I always thought, we weren't good enough, or we didn't have enough, or maybe financially we couldn't do it. But it's literally starting with what you have is what you have to do.
And from that, using what I had, I built that, which it's kind of silly. It's like, who cares? It's just followers. You know what I mean? But those opportunities got me like 3 or 4 other consistent retainer jobs that have been my bread and butter for a long time now. Like ever since then, and have opened up other doors to other, you know, like scoring jobs and other directorial jobs, more podcast shows. So it's like the second that I was like, you know what, I'm not going to let this bury me. Right. I'm going to use it to propel myself into something new. And now we're doing this. And also another thing I want to talk about too is like your family sees that. And so our kids, how many times do we hear from people that our kids are like the best kids in the world? Like people constantly come up to us how are your kids? Like they don't get in trouble at school. They are the sweetest children on the planet. They're kind to each other. They're kind to others around them. They're very generous to other people. I mean, and I think that's a testament to us really doing a lot of this mindset work over the past few years and not letting them see us down and letting you know, them seeing us defeated, and it's rubbing off on them.
So many times where, you know, I'm not taking away from, everyone has their challenges and everyone hits rock bottom and everyone's going through something, but I think there's so many times where it would just be easier to give up. Like the easy thing to do would be like, nope, I'm going to be chronically ill the rest of my life, or I'm just not going to, you know, overcome my anxiety or depression. And I think, you know, kids are watching you, your family's watching you. If you're a parent, your kids watch everything you do. And so it's really important that you put in the work for yourself to be that example to them. And also for the people around you, right? Even if you don't have kids, you put in the work to be that example around you. And people need that. Like people need someone that's going to inspire them, someone that's going to talk positively. And in a world that's so negative, it's really hard to find, right? So it's like finding your people, finding the right ways to think, and finding the right environment is huge and key.
Why does it feel so good to bond with someone over negativity? It's such a weird thing, because it's like when you talk to someone, they're like, did you hear about this? Did you see that? And oh my gosh, and the news and the politics. And yes, it's all important. A lot of it is important. A lot of things do need to be. Our government's a mess. There are so many things that are a mess right now that do need like our attention from a standpoint of like voting is important, you know, talking about these issues is important, talking about with your kids. But it's so strange that like it's easier and more comfortable, and there's more of a bond that happens with someone over negativity and drama. And you have to really change you owe it to your family and to your children to shape them like positive conversations. Find those, like you were just saying, your circle should be people that feel like, man, that guy's just so positive and kind and just talks so he wants to know about what I'm going through. He wants to know about what he can do to help me. And, you know, I don't know. I think there's really something there to not engaging with, you know, and being careful the people you let in your circle that are negative, that are those Debbie Downers that bring you down, want to know about the drama, want to know about the, you know.
Well, this is part of rewiring the brain. Yeah. Because I think these are called patterns, and these patterns are where you're just repeating patterns from your past. Like say your mom or your father was super judgmental, or they like to gossip. These are patterns that you have to break off your life. And that's why I love Joe Dispenza's work about rewiring the brain. Just like with being sick, you have patterns. Your body believes you're sick. The brain is wired to think you're sick. And now you have to rewire the brain, which we could put down in the link, some programs that are for neuroplasticity. And I recommend, if you've been somebody that's been chronically ill, or you've had trauma, or you have had mental health issues, to take one of these courses to rewire the brain. I also highly recommend journaling on a daily basis. But or if you're creative like him, the Artist Way book, fantastic. We could put
the 365, the Artist Way, and then was it the 365 Manifestation Journal too? That I think was in the Amazon storefront at some point. We may need to put that back in there.
Yeah, that was a good journal. Yeah, that was on Amazon too. But like these are just some tools to help you rewire the brain. And I feel like if you're someone stuck, these are things you absolutely need to do. If you're stuck in your health journey, if you're stuck in your mental health journey, or just struggling, these are things that you really need to look into. So especially in the chronic illness world, this has become more and more common. And I highly recommend Joe Dispenza's books as well.
I mean, I think that's why like I love what you've been talking about lately with peptides and stuff, because it really, and it's never a one one thing fixes everything kind of thing. You know, like
yeah.
I loved what you were talking about with your dad, because you really harped on, like, you know, he lives the lifestyle. And so when you can couple healthy framework, positive outlook on life, exercise, healthy diet, and then taking like the peptides and doing those kind of things, taking the natural supplements, you're going to feel unstoppable. I've been telling her, like, the last like month or two, especially when we've been like building the course, doing the content. I have so many other clients that I'm doing stuff for, but I feel like I'm like unstoppable right now.
What do you think it's from?
I was like, I feel like I'm on Adderall.
I make him do all of this health stuff, so it's hard to tell what is like the max benefit. But you're on the peptides. You want to talk about?
I'm almost 44,
you feel
and
better.
I feel like I'm like 30 years old. There's still some like things I deal with, like when I play co-ed softball, my knees hurt a little bit afterwards. But like that's just, I'm older, so that stuff happens.
But let's talk about your mental health, your ADHD. I'm sorry, ADD, not ADHD.
Yeah.
ADD, mental
Super
health,
ADD.
struggling to get things accomplished.
But now I'm not. And I think it's been that rhythm of like, I wake up, I get my coffee, do breakfast, hang out with the kids, get them to school. I come home, I'm working out, I'm right at my desk. I've got I'm a list of things that I need to do. I got to do this for that client, this for you, this for this other client. Going to pick the kids up from school. I come back. I feel like, and I'm also a musician. Yeah. I feel like I'm a musician. I'm learning new songs. I actually have a show tonight that I'm playing with a buddy of mine. And I play at church on the weekends, and I'm learning those songs. And I just feel like, I feel like I'm optimized. And the peptides at night, I think, have really been important, because it's giving me great sleep. It's giving me that strength and endurance. I'm also playing co-ed softball right now, and I feel like I'm like the strongest, probably close to the most fit. Maybe not as fit as I was when I was like 24.
Mental health.
Mentally fit, yeah.
Well, I'd say your mental health has changed. Okay, so let's just talk about what we've done in this health journey, because this is what this is about, is wellness, but also we worked on your mental health a lot. But I would say you definitely had a hard time focusing. Mm-hmm. So let's start with that. And then also you were upset for a while because you lost all your muscle mass. And so you start working out again, but let's just talk about what peptides we did. So like right away, when you have someone struggling with focus and ADD or any kind of mental health, you want to work on their gut, because there's a gut-brain axis. So if the gut is off, the brain's not going to function optimally. So what we did was we did some BPC 157. We did KPV recently, and I think that has been life-changing for you, because I've seen a big shift since we started KPV. We've also done TB 500, and we started incorporating tesamorelin, ipamorelin for human growth analog because you are getting older, and so this helps produce more human growth hormone, which helps with muscle building. It also helps with memory, energy, wound repair. Yeah. So we've been doing that, and then you'll every once in a while do the NAD every few days. Yep. You don't do it every day.
I just did a couple NAD squirts in the nose.
Is that why you're talking so fast?
Am I talking fast?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that might be why.
So we do have an NAD nasal spray that goes directly into the brain, and that is going to help with mental clarity. So he clearly did that.
I literally feel like I've taken Adderall before. I love Adderall. I hate how it makes me feel when I'm not taking it. It's awful.
It's bad for you.
But I feel like I'm taking a natural Adderall right now. And I think, so can I back up for a second? Uh-huh. When I was born, my intestines were on the outside. It was called gastrocesis. Chesis, something like that. One of those big scientific words. Intestines were on the outside. They put them back in. I almost died. Obviously I didn't. I've had scar tissue issues on my stomach since I was born.
Huge scar with scar tissue.
And 2008, 2015, 2016, and one more year, I think, I had 3 or 4 bowel obstructions that put me in the hospital for a week. Mm-hmm. The most pain you've ever felt in your life. The doctors would tell me it's worse than childbirth. I don't know if that's true, but it's awful. It's awful, which made me, after that last one in 2016, I think it was, we changed. I was like, I got to change something. So I changed my diet, less inflammatory, no gluten, no dairy, no sugar. I've been no gluten, no dairy no sugar for consistently for probably almost like 8 or 9 years now.
Yeah. I mean, occasionally, we pretty much cleaned up the diet completely.
And that was huge.
we started to be a little more carnivore now.
Yeah, I do lots of meats, vegetables, not a lot of carbs. Every once in a while I'll have like a bag of chips or something, but most of the time I'm protein bars, protein shakes, creatine, all that kind of stuff.
Which you haven't had any bowel obstruction since?
I haven't had anything close. Do you know what? The only foods that make my stomach feel inflamed are corn, if it's GMO corn.
Which all corn is supposedly genetically modified.
Yes, and peanuts. And the 2 times that I had the last bowel obstructions in 2015 and 16, the evening before I had a meal that had peanuts in it.
Do you know why peanuts?
Because they're full of mold.
They're a moldy nut.
Yeah.
And we had a mold exposure. So mold exposures create a lot of inflammation in the body. And mold can actually be in the gut lining.
Yeah.
Different various types of fungus can affect the gut lining. And so you can get a lot of inflammation or reactions.
Yeah. And we lived those homes that had really bad mold. Those were the last 2 major bowel obstructions. We had, she's talked about it, but we had a home back in Ohio that had the most black mold you've ever seen in the mother-in-law suite. It was riddled all over the walls, all over everything. It was awful. And both of us, you had some serious health issues. That's when they thought you had to get a biopsy. They thought you had cancer.
Yeah. So the house that was full of mold, it wasn't just me. Everyone was affected in the house. And that's why I thought I was absolutely insane, because I was like, how can we all be sick at the same time? And it didn't make any sense. And I was going to traditional doctors and they were telling me they couldn't figure out what was wrong. It was like a mystery illness. And so then they sent me to an oncologist and they thought for sure I had cancer and I was losing so much weight. And one of the doctors in that process, in that time, was telling me I was going to die. But they didn't know why. They were just like, your organs are shutting down, but we don't know why. I was like, cool. So then we started seeing issues with Cade, psychiatric issues. He started hitting himself and acting crazy.
So aggressive.
Very aggressive. Yeah. And then Paxton started having eczema and asthma. And
he had, I'll show a video here for
really severe allergies.
The red circles under his eyes.
Circles, yeah.
He was constantly like jumpy and afraid of things.
He was struggling walking. He would
his
fall.
His nervous system was awful.
He would fall when he would walk. We had to take him to therapy to learn how to eat. He was struggling with that. And then Ava was getting bouts of croup.
Yeah.
Took her to the ER for breathing issues. And then you were getting anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
And bowel issues. So that was kind of the turning point, because I didn't have a choice on learning about health. So there's something about when you hit rock bottom, you have to learn. And so this was what was the turning point for us to change our lifestyle and to figure it out. But in that journey, that affected our mental health because it was a lot of hits. And but then, I'm thankful for that time because we learned so much and how to overcome. And now finally at this time, we feel optimized in our health because we had to learn and do the hard work.
We were talking about this last night. I feel so bad for people who go through life with a stomach ache, with
health
brain
problems.
fog, with all these things. And they're just like, well, I guess it's just who I am. And I'm like, they don't realize the food, the lack of exercise. You can optimize your health. Yeah. It's not easy and it's not necessarily cheap, but I'm
work.
like, I coach my son's baseball team. I can go outside and play catch with him. I can run with them. I can, wrestle with them on the floor and have all this fun. And I'm 44 years old and almost 44 and I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And I would rather, instead of being overweight or too skinny and sick and brain fogged and depressed and laying in bed, not wanting to hang out with them, not wanting to coach his baseball team, not wanting to take her to dance class, not want to go out on dates with you or build this business that we're building. I'm like, to me, it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
To stop. You don't have to shop at Erewhon, but you can go to Whole Foods or Sprouts or whatever.
Even Trader Joe's has healthy options.
Trader Joe's, Costco has gluten-free options. If you can eliminate the gluten, the dairy, and the sugar,
or cut back,
start exercising and start. If you want to introduce peptides or some supplementation, it's a game changer. You feel better, and then you're going to shout it from the rooftops because you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe everybody doesn't do this. And I just feel so bad for people that have not chosen to implement these things and to amplify their life.
I'll say too, there's a lot more information on how to there's a lot more tools and information for longevity and for bettering your health and optimizing. And back when we were going through this, that stuff didn't exist. Yeah. So I think something that's key is educating yourself, right? And that's why, I mean, I think there's so many courses nowadays and so many ways to educate yourself. But if you don't educate yourself, how can you improve your health? Yeah. So it takes discipline and it takes work, but the results are fantastic. And I also think, too, you choose your hard. Yeah. Your hard is either you're overweight and you're struggling with all these medical conditions, or you choose your hard and you put in the work and you work out and you take the supplements and you optimize your life. And the nice part about that hard is that there's results. There's fantastic results, and you're the best version of you mentally, physically, and spiritually.
There's something we posted the other day that everyone is sharing right now. Oh, and it's, if you don't take, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. Yeah. And it's just like you said, I mean, you really got to choose your hard. You want hard now. The hard of eliminating some foods and starting to exercise and making time for these things in your longevity journey and your wellness journey, or you're going to, at some point, 45, 50, 60, I don't know. It's just one day it's going to creep up on you and you're going to be like, oh, why didn't I at 30 years old, at 40 years old, or even now, I don't care if you're in your 20s, make the decisions to be healthy, because, a lot of times you think like, I'm fine, like I'm good. Like I'm young, I'm fine. I don't need to,
until you have a health problem,
until something sneaks up on you and all of a sudden you're like, dang man, like why didn't I? So, I think that's something that, like, along with mindset, it's really important to try to implement these things that are going to better your health long term.
Yeah. Yeah. I think something that I want to tell you guys was that I struggled so long with trying to get healthy. And the missing piece for me was my mindset. Mm-hmm. And if I would have known that to begin with, maybe everyone knows this, I don't know, but I just didn't. And I was like, if I could have just had a positive mindset throughout that, like, it's really hard to be positive when you're sick. It's really hard to be positive when you feel terrible. You can't get out of bed, or the doctors have no idea what's wrong with you. You just aren't positive. But if you could try to be and take action and start writing out, I'm going to feel better, I'm healing, I'm going to be the best version of me, and you start to initiate and tell your brain that you're going to get better by writing or speaking it, it's going to change your life, because it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And then on top of that, educating yourself in ways that, whatever way you can, with the tools you have. It doesn't matter how much money you have.
Yeah. And just really being intentional with, like, if you are in a bad place, if you lost your job, you lost your marriage, whatever, fill in the blank. There's so many things. Choosing to have the right perspective on that and not giving up and letting it bury you, that's a really important thing. Yep. And I'm sure that we're going to have other times in our life where things are going to come up, and it's going to be something we're going to have to deal with, and we're going to be able to choose, like, do we let this destroy? Well, like, okay, let's talk about this. Even recently with you, there have been some things where people in your life that maybe you thought were friends or thought were opportunities or thought were potential business things didn't work out. People that actually have been in your life for a long time, that you found out who they really are, and they've since exited your life, but it's been for the better. In the moment, it was awful. I mean, in the moment, it's like, what's happening? Everything's spinning out of control. But
I think in order to make room for greatness and success, that, you have to let go of some people along the way. And it's not that you don't love them or you don't care about them, but you outgrow people when you are trying to rise to a new level of success. And so in order to do that, sometimes that journey can be lonely, because you're leaving some people behind to become the best version of you. And if those people aren't willing to meet you where you're at, they're not for you in that journey. And so that's been hard for me, because I'm a very, I love to embrace people. I love to bring them with me. I love to see them succeed. I really like to build a team where I'm like, oh my gosh, I want you to succeed as much as me. But I had to learn the hard way that not everyone has the same journey as me. And so all along that way, which also affected my mental health, was like, I have to let go of some people that are toxic in my life to become the version of me that I need to be. And that is also affected my health, because I stayed in places longer than I should have, and I let it affect me mentally and physically. So I think that is something that I've just learned, is like, okay, I got to let go of these relationships if they're not for me, and they can actually make me physically ill. The crazy part is when you're in a relationship and the person is not for you and they are toxic, they can make you physically ill. And I never put that together until recently. Like, okay, my health was affected because this person, it could be any relationship, right? It could be coworker, it could be the place you work, it could be your spouse or whatever. I'm not saying leave them, maybe get counseling or do whatever, but right. If you are in a toxic relationship, it will physically affect your health.
Have you seen that? There's a speech that Tyler Perry made, and he talks about how you're kind of like a rocket ship. And when you're starting to elevate to new levels, the boosters and the thrusters and things, I'm not a NASA scientist, but things start to fall off because they're not meant to go where the rocket's meant to go.
Right.
And your relationships, it's kind of cheesy, but it's true. Like there are a lot of places that you're going and that I'm going that some of the people that were in our lives are not ready to go, and they were jealous. They were intimidated by it. They weren't ready to see you go where you wanted to go. And so those people just weren't, not everybody is meant to be in your circle when you're elevating to those new levels. So sometimes relationships are going to end, and it's the best thing for you because it's making you realize what you were called to and how much that was actually holding you back.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're awful people.
No.
Doesn't mean that they're evil.
It just means it's
maybe
not
they
the
didn't
right...
even mean to, but they just were holding on to you because they saw this version of you and they weren't ready for this version of you.
Yeah.
And so they had to go.
Yeah. And I mean, I just think it's important to know that it's okay to let those relationships go as you're growing, or if you're going through a health journey, it's okay. If people aren't going to be supportive of you, it's okay to let go of them, and that, because that can actually hinder your healing. I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah. It's not easy, but like again, kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of this thing, like where we are at today, there has been so many twists and turns and failures and challenges, but it's made us into who we are, and the people who are for you and the people who see your worth and see your value are still around, and they're still celebrating you, and they are wishing the best for you and helping you get there.
Yeah.
Some people just weren't ready for that. They weren't ready for that version of you. And so they had to go. So
yeah.
And you'll have that. You're going to have people, when you start elevating to who you're supposed to be called to, not everybody that's around you right now is ready for that journey.
I think when you take the step and you start taking action towards the best version of yourself, you will notice a lot of people will leave. Or they will be naysayers, right? They'll be like, I don't think you should do that. Why are you doing that? They'll question it. Everything that we've done that, we've had to do to promote ourselves, I think we've maybe had some relationships we've had to let go of, or changes we've had to make. And
there's a lot of them they're holding you back.
Yeah.
Literally. Like they are literally trying to hang on to you because they want something from you, because they like how you make them feel, which is great. But it's way easier to pull somebody down than it is to reach down and pull somebody up. And if you're elevating, you're not necessarily going to be strong enough to pull them up to where you're going.
And for someone that struggles with their health, it's important to protect your energy and yourself, because people can take.
Yep.
And being a medical provider, that was hard for me because I thought I was always supposed to give. And then I realized boundaries are important just late in life. I wish I would have realized that. But I think because I didn't set boundaries earlier, healthy boundaries for myself, it did impact my health. And I just wish I would have had these lessons before to implement so that I could have healed faster. But this is why now I know them and I can help other people with them, I guess.
Yep.
You're good at boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put up with, and I don't really have time for people in my life.
We're opposite.
You know what I mean? Like you see the best in a lot of people, which is great. And you know what? We balance each other out really well in that regard. Like there's times where I'm like, and I'm a little more introverted, so I
wouldn't know today.
I can stay home. I can watch a movie. I got work to do.
Who's the introvert and who's the extrovert? Introvert, extrovert.
You're definitely the extrovert. I'm definitely the introvert. But we've balanced each other out so well, where like I think I've helped you see like not everybody's worthy of your energy and your time and your space, and you've helped me see that there are people that can actually be a benefit in my circle, and I have to get out of my box and out of my comfortable space to recognize and see who those even are.
Yeah.
And I think like I found a lot of great people, at our church at Mosaic. Pastor Irwin's been incredible. I think he's he's been a huge part of why my mindset has changed over the past couple
we have
years.
to give him credit,
McMahon
not just health stuff. It's been
like mindset, faith, communication. I mean, Erwin is a legend. I mean, he's really just, and my father, my dad's a pastor too.
He's amazing.
But, those kind of people are who you need to be speaking into your life.
Yeah.
And then from that, like even at Mosaic, just like plugging into, a lot of the guys there, there's a lot of guys on, because I play bass. So a lot of the guys in the worship team have become my close friends. There's a lot of guys there so when you put yourself out there, and that's what I'm getting to, is that you've helped me kind of come out of my shell a little bit to get involved, to give myself a little bit and find, not everybody, but find like that little circle of people who are community. Like, man, these are my guys, that's my community, and they're helping sharpen me and be the best version of myself.
Well, and I think to play off that, when I was struggling with my health really bad, I isolated myself. And I realize now that was a bad thing to do because I was ashamed. I was ashamed that I couldn't be the best mom. I couldn't be the best wife. I couldn't work. And I isolated myself because I was ashamed. And in reality, I should have really embraced community and support from other people. And I might have gotten out of that, sickness or health issue quicker if I would have had that support and knew it was okay and gave myself grace during that time. So community is a really big deal for helping with mental and physical health. And that's something you've been really good at. Here's
the other truth too. Like, I think something that I wanted to talk about is it's been incredible watching you elevate to where you're at right now. Like the last 5 years, you've gone from in 2018 when you had to work, you got hooked up with a doctor that now you were doing IV therapy and you started doing all this stuff. And the relationships that you made have been incredible. Some of your best friends, some of your closest friends, you've met, some celebrities that have really had an impact on our lives and stuff. So you've been working a lot. You've been crushing it. Like you're traveling, you're doing all this stuff. Now you're building a business, but along with that comes sometimes guilt and the sacrifices that you make of okay, so lately, for a while, I've been getting up with the kids, taking them to school because you're sleeping because you've been going so much. You need that rest, and that's fine. And I think one of the things that really frustrates me, we talked about this last year a while ago. One of the things that really, really, really frustrate me is this notion that the mom needs to stay home and do the dishes and clean and be the Susie homemaker while the man is out with his briefcase working the job and paying the bills. It's no, it doesn't have to be like that. We both contribute.
Yeah.
My work, what I do, I pay some of the bills, you pay some of the bills, right? You make some of the income, I make some of the income. You sometimes help with the kids, I sometimes help with the kids. And there's this this
I think
dance that we do.
It's more common in the city, bigger cities to have
LA,
this lifestyle.
For sure.
But I also think that also is something that we've agreed to in our marriage that we both want to have careers.
Yeah.
Some people don't, and that's okay. But if you both want to have careers, the husband should support the wife wanting to have a career. The 100%. Wife should support the husband wanting to have a career. And it's about taking, turns.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed about us is we've taken turns.
Yeah.
There's a season for you to really be working a lot, and then there's a season for me to be working a lot.
100%.
And I think because we've been able to support and not be selfish, I think a lot of times in a marriage, I mean, if we're just being honest, you could have been selfish while I was sick and been oh well, I don't care about you. Or I could have been selfish when you were mentally not doing great and been get it together, I don't care. But we supported each other, and we've supported each other in our careers and with balancing the kids. Because it's really hard as a mom to have a career and be sick and have kids. Just not gonna lie, that was really hard. And then once I was finally feeling better, even just having a career and having kids is hard. So if he wasn't supporting me in that and being there for me, I could never do it.
Well,
I could never do it.
I think it's just we have a plan. So my strengths are creative, creating content. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a musician.
All creative.
I can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've built your course. I do the email campaigns. I'm doing all that stuff, and I love it. That's what I love to do. You are business. I have an idea. This is what I'm going to do. You're going to school.
Yeah.
You're doing your clinicals. You're seeing clients. You're working nonstop. We're doing this podcast. You're making courses. That's a lot, but we've decided we're putting our energies together and saying, look, when I'm out doing all this stuff, I'm going to text you and say, hey, I'm not going to make it home. Go pick up the kids. It's fine. I'm here. I'm fortunate enough to where I can do that.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I want to just say to like a lot of people out there is like, man, find that balance. Like there is such a reward to figuring out like, what are your strengths? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
What are you dreaming? Right. Where's your value? Where do you value yourself? And helping you see that value. And then saying, what can I do to support that?
Right.
Is that me?
But I don't think a lot of married couples do that.
But I wish they would. Yeah. That's my point. I think like marriages would be so much stronger if we weren't always this like man's man, like I'm going to watch football and sit on the couch and drink a beer and you're going to go do this. And why wasn't dinner on the table? It's like,
women do this opposite thing where they're just like, oh, my husband never does anything. I do everything. And like it goes both ways.
100%.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is if like you could just come and work in as a team.
That's what it's supposed to be.
But I don't know that we would be working as a team if we didn't overcome all those challenges and have to figure it out. I think but working as a team has changed our marriage and our family life.
And it's stronger than it's ever been. Yeah. I feel like our marriage is like, we don't fight. Hardly ever. Right. We'll have an argument once a month or every other month.
Well,
like,
yeah,
if
hardly
that.
ever.
Like it's, but we just find this balance with each other, and we know, like, I know when you need space, when you need a break, when you need to get stuff done, and I'm like, okay, so she needs a minute. I'm going to take the kids to the park. I'm going to go work in my office and get some stuff done. Yeah. Or I need a minute. You're like, you know what? Cool. I'm going to go take the kids to the park. I'm going to go take them shopping, go take them to Target or whatever. You stay home, and it's like,
it works so well.
It works well. And it's not like this, well, I did this last time. It's your turn to go to, it's just like finding what each other need and supporting that. And that's made, I just wish more couples would attempt those kind of relationships because it's really been beautiful for our marriage.
I would say if you could be generous to your spouse and you could make sacrifices for your spouse, it'll actually reward you.
It's not all about you.
I think
for sure.
I think making those decisions to give to your spouse and being like I said, generous, all of a sudden then you are going to get rewarded for that and you're going to have a better marriage, and then your kids are going to see that and your family life's going to be better.
100%.
And maybe that's why our kids are well behaved, because we mirror that. Not that we're perfect, we're not. No. But I think because we make sacrifices for each other and are generous to each other, that our kids possibly see that. Yep. And that's how they're treating others. But we had to learn that.
Oh, for sure. And I'm far from perfect. Like, I am not trying to paint myself as
I think we learned it we've been married for quite a while, and we had to learn that as we went on.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, it's figuring it out. Like, we've been married 14 years this year, next month. 14 years next month. Okay. And we're still...
I thought it was 15.
We're still... 15 is next year.
You sure?
We got married in 2011. So this year is 14. 14. But we're still learning so much about each other. And as we grow and evolve and become new people and grow in our faith, grow in our, work and what we are and who we are, there's these shifts that happen, and we're still learning things. I'm still learning how to be patient. I'm still learning how to be more generous. I'm still learning how to be, patient with the kids and stuff. It's, everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got things they need to work. But when you're putting that effort forth and you're like, I want this to be a healthy home. Yeah. I want us to be successful. I want you to be happy. I want you to feel like you're valued. I don't want you to be sitting around thinking, what am I doing with my life? The kids don't love me. Ava's mad at me. Pax is upset. I told him to clean it. Whatever. Like, there's so many things you can view. But what I love about us is that we're always like challenging each other and trying to shape each other and sharpen each other into being better spouses. Yeah. And we're open to it. Like, this is another thing I want to talk about really quick. You would get so upset with me because I'd leave my clothes laying around. Sometimes I still do. Or not do the laundry, not help with the laundry, not clean up my office, not do this, that, and the other. And now it's like, I enjoy doing it because I know it's something that makes you happy, and you
enjoy it.
It makes, because I don't love watering the plants and doing the laundry and stuff, but I do it because I know you're slammed, and like just switching a load of laundry and folding a basket of clothes for 20 minutes is really going to help you feel like less stressed out when you get home. Yeah, helping the kids clean up the table. So it's like those kind of things where it's like, I just wish more men would take that approach of like, what can I do to serve my spouse? Yeah. What can I do to help make this a home, you're not a weak man for doing laundry. You're not a weak man for like sweeping the freaking floor, taking your kids to the park. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're a weak man when you don't be generous to your spouse. When you're selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Like and that's what I wish more men would, because it's made our relationship so much stronger.
And I'll say this about women, because that's something that I see women do, is they talk down about their husband because maybe their husband is not doing those things, and so they all like automatically talk down and belittle them, and that really affects your marriage, and your kids hear that. So I try my hardest, and I hardly ever say anything negative about, of course, when we fight, it's easy to be like, oh, I'm mad at you, whatever, say something bad. But like, I never do it around the kids, and I never do it around, never talk bad about him in public. Because if you're talking bad about your husband in public, what are you saying about other people? Because it's supposed to be the person that you love the most, that you're intimate with. Yep. What are you saying about other people, and what do you think about yourself? Yeah. Because, you know, I believe when people talk bad about other people, they really don't love themselves. Mm-hmm. So, like, the worst person you could talk about in front of people is your spouse, and that affects your marriage, by the way.
Boundaries.
So, and I find a lot of women can do that. They'll be mad that their husband didn't do the laundry. They need to go to their husband and say, hey, like, I need you to do this for me, or we need to have this conversation or some kind of agreement. Yeah. But when you're talking bad about your husband to your friends or to your parents or to your family, it's just going to disrupt your household and cause problems for your marriage, to be honest.
100%.
And that was something that, you know, I wasn't perfect at in the beginning. I'd be like, he does not clean anything. He's a slob to my sister.
Well, it goes back to like, you want somebody to resonate with you. You want somebody to understand your feelings.
Right.
And so you're
validated.
When you're frustrated about, he didn't do this, this, and this. I thought marriage was supposed to be this, this, and this. I just need to tell somebody. I need to feel validated in my feelings. And so it feels good to of course, a friend is going to take your side. Like, a friend is not going to be like, oh, you shouldn't talk bad about your husband like that. But they're going to take your side because they love you. They want you to feel like it's okay, like you're right. But it's you got to have those boundaries, because then it feeds off of that. And then all of a sudden that friend starts to resent the spouse. I've seen it. Mm-hmm. I've been there because I went through it before. Yeah. And I was guilty of it, you know? Yeah. Like, I've been divorced. I talked with my friends about my ex and about how blah, 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 fill in the blank. I wasn't perfect either. It creates more problems, you know, and whatever. Like, I'm a better person now for all those experiences. Yeah. And I wouldn't change anything. And she's remarried. But
we would never
great,
allow
blah,
it
blah.
in our relationship.
But no, like, we know better, because I've been there, and it was something that I was like, I'm not doing that again. Mm-hmm. Like, if you got a problem, talk to me about it. Right. And we'll fix it. And I think a lot of couples don't understand that. Yeah. You know? It's really, to me, it's been really rewarding to watch you go from being so sick and so down on yourself, losing all the weight, being so like just frustrated with like financially, personally, with who you are, your value, to watching you doing this now. Like, it's been really cool to watch. And even though I've been telling you for a long time to do this,
I didn't believe in myself.
I was like, because I do content for a living. I'm a filmmaker. I make commercials and all that stuff. I'm like, you need to do something with all this knowledge that you have. You're so smart. You've helped so many people. You need to do it. So seeing you doing it now is...
Going through like a really bad health journey and then trying to talk about it, or it's really hard. Yeah. So like, I'm willing to be in that place now where I can be vulnerable and talk about the struggles. But for a while I wasn't ready. And I think too, I didn't have enough self-worth, and now I do. Now I know who I am, what I want. But going through all of that was like a setback for me. Yeah. So I understand it. So it's really cool now to be like, I've overcome it, and I want to help people overcome whatever they're going through, because it's not just hell. There's people go through stuff every day. Yeah. And I think now I finally feel like, okay, I can do anything. Yeah. Like, I've overcome all of that. What's going to stop me now? Yeah. You know? So anyways, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's been so cool. Like, you know, it's so wild. Like, when you take the step and you're like, you know what, let's just do it. All of a sudden it's like, oh, all these ideas, like, let's do a podcast. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'd be great. Let's do a course. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that'd be great. Let's create this content. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then it just starts like flowing.
Opportunities.
You know,
I think when you take action, opportunities present themselves.
Yeah. So it's just been really cool to watch. And, you know, the course is great. Obviously, like I'm editing all those videos and all that content and stuff. But like that, honestly, like I really feel like in the past couple of years, or maybe even just like the last year, the peptide therapy has been something that really has been special. And I know it's made a big difference in our lives. And so, you know, like I had a major injury like last year, last year, I injured my arm, helping coach my son's baseball team. I was throwing with the team and hurt my arm so bad. And then I went to the gym outside of my patios where my gym is and was working out and I injured my bicep.
Right.
Couldn't move it. I couldn't operate a camera. I literally took 2 months off. I lost like 10 pounds of muscle because I wasn't working out.
You were a little depressed.
I started getting depressed again. I started getting really upset at myself. Why did I do that? I'm so stupid. You know, you do all that negative talk.
I mean, injuries can kind of like slow people down, make them sad, depressed. Yeah.
Yeah, because you feel like I'm getting old. I'm not in the gym, and that just creates a lot of like negative.
Yeah.
But the peptides, man, it's like the BPC 157, the ipamorelin, the tesamorelin have been insane because I have zero pain. Like I'm back at the gym doing more weight than I've ever done. I'm throwing 70-mile-an-hour baseballs, you know, with my kids and at softball. Like I'm playing. I'm like, you know, I feel great.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty amazing, like that you've taken the time to create that course and to help so many people.
Yeah.
Because it's helped me. You know, like I'm almost 44 and I feel like I'm still like 28, 30 years old.
I've been doing the peptides on clients for quite a few years, but I was like, you know what? I just really want to push these on my family and see what kind of results I can get like added to their plan. And I was actually
your
shocked.
Sister.
Like, I mean, I knew they were a great tool, but I was actually shocked at the results, genuinely shocked at the results that I was getting from you and my dad and some of the other people I know that have had injuries, and how well it works for injuries and how well it works if you're somebody that works out a lot. I was genuinely shocked because I'm into all kinds of health and wellness stuff. I'm into supplements. I'm into castor oil packs. I'm into infrared sauna, even sometimes pharmaceuticals if needed. I'm open to hormone therapy, but like the peptides were the thing that worked so well in a short window of time.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing to see.
Yeah, it's incredible. So mindset, yes. Marriage stuff, yes. Like everything we talked about is great, but I'm telling you, like if you give it time, if you go down that peptide path and give it time, I don't care if it's trying to lose weight, if it's trying to recover from an injury, be stronger, put on muscle mass. There's so many benefits, so many different ones that I don't like, beauty stuff with your skin. If you just do it and give it a little bit of time, man, it's really life-changing. And just like that one little shift can be the thing that you're like, you just perk up and you're like, oh, like I can feel like this. Then you're like, then you want to work out. Then you want to eat healthier. And
then
when
you have
go,
more energy.
And you got to have that energy to get through your day. You know, there's so many people out there that like probably want to start a business, create content, want to do this thing, that thing, and they're like, I don't have time. I don't have the energy.
Not just that. It's also the mental capacity of having a clear mind. I think so many of us walk around with brain fog and not having mental clarity, or just not feeling good about ourselves. Yeah. And so I'm not saying that the peptides are the one thing that answers all the problems, because that's not true. It's a combination of having a really healthy mindset, having a healthy diet, and then also, you know, making sure that if you do have health problems, that you seek out a functional medicine practitioner to work on those. And then adding in these tools, of course, working out, weightlifting is life-changing, but adding in the peptides to complement all these things are what can be like life-changing and life-altering. You have to be disciplined and willing to do the work. And that's why I think the mindset's important. That's why I think the diet's important. That's why we talk about this stuff, because we had to take it in stages. And then we were like, oh my gosh, our life is getting better and better as we did it. And so it's just, we want to encourage you guys that you can take one step a day, one action a day to improve your life. Like, it's possible.
It's true. It's important. I think that's what we're trying to accomplish with this whole channel, you know, is there's a better life for you. There really is. You know, you don't have to be somebody that's, you know, struggling with your health and, you know, depression and marriage problems. Yes, we're going to all have things. Like there's going to be challenges.
Yeah.
Marriages might not be perfect. Relationships with kids.
Nothing's perfect.
Nothing is perfect. Everybody messes up. Everybody makes mistakes. But I think when you can really lock in that wellness aspect of it and give yourself the best shot to be the best version of yourself for your marriage, for your kids, for your job, for whatever, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
So it's super cool to see you doing what you're doing. And
thank you.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
That's what I'm here for, to inspire you.
That's all she does. Inspires me
You should
every
hear
day.
the things I make him do. All the health things I make him do.
Yeah, it's a lot.
What's the weirdest health and wellness or health thing I've made you do?
The weirdest health thing? Well, you told me once to do a coffee enema. Actually, I did do a coffee enema once.
Yeah.
I did do one once. And actually, you know what? It actually did make me feel really good. I remember that. It's a little outside of my comfort zone, sticking a tube up there to do a coffee enema.
I used
So
to
that
do
was
them all the
strange.
time, so I was like comfortable with
You don't do
them.
them that much anymore, do you? Unless you
I
need
mean,
to.
mostly because I don't have time, but they are amazing for detox.
Sauna's pretty straightforward. Sweating, honestly, one of the coolest things that I've done. Whenever I feel like I'm getting sick, if I do 30 minutes of a hard sweat in the sauna, 30, 40 minutes, like drenched in sweat,
You don't get sick.
then I go take an ice cold shower.
Yeah.
I'm like, kicks the thing
doesn't
in a
get
day.
sick.
It's crazy. But I think I also don't get sick a lot because thymosin alpha is huge. The peptide.
Oh, yeah. Guys, thymosin alpha will prevent you from getting sick.
At the
It's
onset
crazy.
of feeling run down,
Yeah.
stuffy nose, thymosin alpha is huge. Sauna's huge. Ice baths, ice showers is huge. And then obviously like the typical supplements, Mirinda, vitamin C, zinc, all those kind of things.
I think I've had you put castor oil every single place well, not every single, but a lot of places.
A lot of it gut, for gut stuff.
Okay,
like
castor
putting
oil
castor
packs.
oil on the stomach with a heating pad. That's been
That's
huge.
been life-changing.
Yeah,
I've had him vape glutathione.
I've vaped glutathione.
That's something weird and strange. I have had you...
Glutathione spray on the kidney.
Liver.
Or on the liver. That's
we
right.
spray glutathione on the liver. Did I ever make you put onions in your socks?
Onions in
that
my
the-
socks?
That was the kids, I think. I made them put onions in their socks.
All right,
There's
now we're full-blown hippies over here.
No,
what are we doing?
but I'm open to all of it, guys. Because guess what? Like the old stuff works, the old remedies work, and so do the new ones. I'm
Hold
open.
on. What do onions and socks do?
They help with congestion.
She's probably right, though. This is how I was in the beginning when you started telling
and
me
he
all
thought
this
I was
stuff.
crazy, and
I
look
thought
at
you
him
were
now.
crazy,
He's
and now
optimized and
So
muscular
she's probably
and
right.
living his best life. So
Yeah.
if you
I'm
just
gonna go
listened
put onions
to
in my
me,
socks right now.
If you would have listened to me back then, early on, well, I didn't have all the knowledge I do now, but you should have just always listened to me.
So I need to go to Arby's and buy some onion rings and put them in my
not
fries.
onion rings; those are fried.
I'm
It
just
has to be
kidding.
raw
I know,
onions.
I'm just kidding.
Raw onions. Okay, so but I think like using things topically has worked well for you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
But
it has.
vaping glutathione's maybe
I do
the
whatever
worst.
she says. Literally I'll be trying to watch a show at night, like on Netflix or HBO, and she's in her computer reading a book, reading about peptides, reading about something. She's doing face exercises, got a red light on her face.
Okay, well, face yoga is a big deal.
Yeah.
If you want to prevent wrinkles, you should do face yoga. He doesn't do it yet, but he will.
Oh, I will. Mm-hmm. I don't even wash my face at night. I just go right to bed.
We have to get a skincare routine. If you have any advice, let us know.
Yeah.
Men's skincare routine. That would be a nice line to have.
I probably should start doing that. I do have like crow's feet.
Yeah.
I gotta get rid of those. Jeez. Yeah.
GHKCU topical serum.
I should actually start doing that. I started doing the GHKCU BPC foam on my hair because I've been a little bit thinning because of all the crap that
all
we've
the
been
stress.
through.
That's
Yeah.
great for hair loss, by the way.
It does help. I got to be more consistent with it, but it really, like after doing that for like 3 to 4 weeks, we should have a link to that. The
Your hair
BPC,
did get thicker.
It's a blue foam. It's GHKCU and BPC 157, and you take a shower, you leave your hair damp, and then you spray a little of the foam on your spots that are thinning, and man, 3 to 4 weeks, you notice a difference.
Yeah.
You really do. Like your hair
Yeah.
grows faster. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need a haircut again already. Like
It did make a difference.
and new growth,
Yeah.
like regrowth, not
you
just.
need to be consistent with
Yeah, I'm
it.
not very consistent with it on that sometimes.
And you've done exosomes we've injected exosomes in your scalp.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
fun.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not. but
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to take that part out.
microneedling exosomes. I'm trying to get him to microneedle his scalp. That's something that we need to do.
It just doesn't feel very good, but it's
Beauty
worth
is
it.
pain.
I know.
You
You're
know
right.
the amount of pain I go through.
You're right. It's true.
Anything else weird I made you do? How about
Anything weird?
I made him go to a lot of energy doctors, so I'm really into frequency medicine.
Dude, we could have a whole episode
We'll just keep
on
this
this.
short, but because I want to learn, I want to educate more about frequency medicine.
So-
we need to bring on a frequency.
We were just talking to my mom about this last night.
We've done frequency medicine. He thought I was crazy.
So went to this energy healer in Pasadena, Dr. Perez. He's amazing.
Yeah, we went to a couple of them. We went to but Dr.
And
Perez
Dr.
was the
and
last.
James Hobson.
Yeah.
They're both great.
Yeah.
But Perez, they're both awesome. But
Yeah.
Perez specifically, because this was when I was having the bicep pain.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even lift my arm without excruciating pain.
Mm-hmm.
And he did all this energy work on me, and he was like, "Do you have any scars?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have a scar." I was like, "I have one kind of right here," and I was like, "Well, I have a big one on my stomach from when I was born." And he just lit up. Like, what? I was like, "Yeah, when I was born, my intestines were on the outside, and I have a big scar." And he was like, "We need to work on that."
Mm-hmm.
And he did all this energy stuff, and he was like, "This is the core of why you're having the pain that you're having.
Right.
Those gut issues affect the rest of your
Everything.
body." So he started doing all this energy work. I was holding these like metal rods, and this energy frequency was going through my body. And,
Kinesiology, muscle testing.
like, so between that and the peptides, zero pain. Like, literally fixed me.
it was
And-
crazy.
And he picked up on that there was trauma. We have stored trauma that needs fixed. Like, you
Yeah.
can do energy work to fix
Well,
stored
scar
trauma.
tissue can hold trauma.
But all the way 43 years ago, like almost 44 years ago now,
There's-
all that trauma
There's
that's
a
been
lot
stored.
of practitioners that work on scar tissue now.
That's so crazy.
They can actually inject the scar tissue to help break it up, to help promote healing. There's
Yeah.
people doing that. I believe they're doing it with Procaine, if I'm right. And there's also myofascial release, people that practice myofascial release for scar tissue. And some people have trapped trauma in the scar tissue.
I used to do so when I did CrossFit and I trained MMA for a while, me and my buddy Aaron would do myofascial releases at the gym.
It's huge.
We'd take a ball and roll out all this
I think
stuff.
it's underrated. I think actually if we were using more of that, we'd see a lot more people healthier because you're getting a lot more blood flow to areas, and we actually store trauma in the fascia.
Yeah.
So if we store trauma in the fascia, we also store it in the scar tissue, and so these things can help relieve it.
But that's
So
what he worked on.
That's what he
He
worked
worked on my scar tissue.
Yeah. And it helped relieve pain everywhere
And the scar
else.
tissue is what I was talking earlier, the bowel obstructions. That's what put me in the hospital.
Yep.
But those also, for you tell me how it works, but that scar tissue was affecting my biceps.
Well, it's systemic inflammation. Gut inflammation could create systemic inflammation, but the scar tissue, I'm assuming you have a lot of trauma in that area because of all the events that have happened.
Yeah.
And so that trauma is something you need to work on energetically, which is what he did.
Yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
the energy stuff, when you ask the question, weird things that I've done, like that was definitely like an interesting,
I
because
highly recommend it though.
you're
It
in the
works.
office with this guy for 2 hours and he's having you hold things and doing all this thing where he's like putting pill bottles on your chest and having you move your arm a certain way and
Muscle
see where you're
testing,
straight, muscle
yeah.
testing, all that kind of stuff. But
It looks like
works.
they're doing nothing. It looks like they're not accomplishing anything, but they really are. It's really cool.
They are.
Yeah.
For sure.
We need to bring on someone to talk about frequency
Oh, that would be
healing.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
So thank you for being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
It's my favorite. I love being vulnerable.
We're actually, we're getting better at this. This isn't being vulnerable is not easy, but in order to help other people, it's required.
Yep.
And so we're hoping this is helpful to a lot of people. And I am excited that you came on and shared, because I don't think a lot of men talk about their mental health. I don't think a lot of men talk about hitting rock bottom. I think there's a lot of ego and pride that, we all carry, but I'm proud of you for letting go ego and pride and being able to share your challenges and how you've supported me and I've supported you, and that's how much you've grown in that process. And so I appreciate you sharing this, because I think a lot of men could benefit from it.
And that's why
Or
I do
women.
it. Because
Yeah.
if I can help another guy out there that's like somebody that's like, man, I know I need to be better at this or that, or I'm hitting rock bottom, or I feel like a failure, or blah, 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 fill in the blank.
Yeah.
If anything that I can share can help someone else in that same situation, I'm happy to do it.
Right. So. Yeah. So thank you for being on today.
Sure.
Thank you for editing this later.
I'm going to go and edit it right now.
And we hope you guys enjoyed this conversation about mental health and wellness, also touching on trauma and the weird things I've made Michael do. We'll share a lot more on the things we've talked about and hopefully bring on some special guests. But thank you so much for watching, and can't wait to see you next time.
And follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Check out the course. Get your free peptide guide.
We'll put some links down on some of the things we talked about, like the book, The Artist's Way, and whatnot. We'll put links down at the bottom. So Thank you so much for watching.